Chanel number 5. This is the Eau de Parfum. I got this in the mail when I ordered my Egoist from Chanel. When I ordered that, they gave me an option to choose two free samples. I think these are 1.5 mil samples. As a matter of fact, I have the little sample right there. So I ordered my free sample of Chanel number 5 Eau de Parfum, and I ordered another free sample along with my Egoist. I've always heard about Chanel number 5, but I never really thought about getting it or anything because I know it's marketed towards females, and I just assumed that it was going to be really feminine, really powdery. As a matter of fact, I've had Chanel Shalimar from Guerlain for quite a while, and I reviewed this twice, and I do not like this. These actually come out almost the same time. The original, the original Chanel number 5, the Parfum, that was the original, is Chanel number 5, and the original was Parfum Concentration. Come out in 1921. This come out in 1925. So I just assumed that this was a reformulation of the original, but I found out last night it's not. I'll explain in a minute. But I thought these were going to be very similar because they come out at the same time. Both of them are like really high-end designer. I did not like this because it's really powdery, really feminine. It's got civet in it, which I don't like anything animalic. I did not like this. So I just assumed that I wasn't going to like this, but I decided to wear it anyway last night before I go to bed, and I was blown away. I fell in love with this fragrance. It's not anything like I was expecting at all. As a matter of fact, I've done some research on this last night, and I watched a few reviewers talk about this, and I realized that a lot of reviewers are misinformed about this, the Eau de Parfum. A lot of people think that this Chanel number 5 Eau de Parfum is a reformulation of the original 1921. It is not. The original is the Parfum concentration, which they still make that. It's been reformulated, but it's still that is the original, the Parfum. This is not. Even though it has Chanel number 5, this is actually more of a flanker than a reformulation. The Eau de Parfum come out in 1986, I believe, and this is a flanker. This is not a reformulation, so this is not like the original. Um, I'll tell you what I get from this, and I also want to talk a little bit about a memory that this brought back for me last night when I was laying in bed after I put this on. And after about an hour, I was like closing my eyes and I was just enjoying this fragrance so much. Um, it reminded me of something that happened about 46 years ago. Let me tell you what it smells like first. I'll tell you what I get from this. I'm not going to go into great detail about every tiny little thing that I smell, but in general, this is a bouquet of flowers. This is a bouquet of florals. That's what this fragrance is. It's very natural. The main floral I get from this is rose. But I get all different kinds of flowers. Just anything that I can't really pick out anything specific other than rose and maybe carnation. Um, but I can tell it's just a lot of different kinds of florals. It's very natural. It's a natural sweetness. It's not overly sweet. And I just assumed that this would smell like this. This is not feminine, in my opinion. This is unisex, and which really surprises me because this is actually marketed not to men and women, but just to women. It's marketed just to women. So I just knew this was going to be really feminine, but it's not to me. It smells like flowers. And I don't think flowers, a natural flower smell, is feminine or masculine. I think it's for everybody. I think it's unisex right down the line. I do get a little, just barely a little bit of powderiness and soapiness. There's some sandalwood and vanilla that come in the dry down, but from start to the end of the dry down, from the very opening to the end of the dry down, this is multiple flowers, yellow flowers, white flowers, rose. I do get a little bit of some kind of fruitiness, barely a little bit of powderiness, um, but it's not sweet. It's actually a natural sweetness, but it's not overly sweet. It's not feminine. It's just a beautiful floral fragrance, and I was really surprised. And I'll tell you the memory that this reminded me of. I hadn't thought about this in over 40 years. About 46 years ago, when I was about 15 years old, my dad had a shoe shop in my hometown of Hendersonville, North Carolina. And after school, I would walk down to his shoe shop and just hang out for a while. And there was a flower shop right next to my dad's shoe shop in downtown Hendersonville. And I went in there one day, and there was this girl in there that I immediately fell in love with. I had such a crush on her. She was a little bit older than me. She was probably 17 or 18 years old. Apparently, she was the daughter of the owner of the flower shop. And I walked in there and seen her one day, and I fell in love. I had such a crush on that girl. And I would go in there every day. And I didn't want anybody to know that I had a crush on this girl, so I would just go in there every day, and I would act like I was shopping for flowers. And I think they sort of knew right off the bat why I was going in there every day. What would a 15-year-old boy go into a flower shop every day shopping for flowers and never buy anything? So I think after like the second or third day, they knew that the reason I was going in there is just to be able to see that girl. She was so beautiful. But one of the things why this perfume reminds me of that is because I remember every time that I would go into that flower shop, as soon as I opened up the door to the flower shop and walk in, I would just get bombarded by just so many different kinds of beautiful flowers in there. The smell of flowers were just all in that store, and it smelled so beautiful to me. It smelled so beautiful and natural. And this Chanel number 5 EDP reminded me of that when I was 15. I can't remember what year that was, but I was about 15 years old. And this brought back such good memories of that time when I fell in love with that girl, and I would go into that floral shop every day. Um, this is a beautiful fragrance, and it was not what I was expecting. I was expecting feminine, powdery, yucky stuff, just like Shalimar that I didn't like, but it's not. Um, and if I didn't have so many fragrances myself, I would buy this in a heartbeat because I think it's so beautiful. It's the smell of flowers, and it's very natural. I know it still has aldehydes in it because when I did a little bit of research on this last night, they used aldehydes in here also, but this is not a reformulation of the original. It's just a flanker of the original. But what a beautiful fragrance. This is actually for men and women. If you're a guy out there and you like the smell of flowers, like all different kinds of flowers, you might want to pick this up or at least just try it, get a sample or something. Um, but I would love to have a bottle of this if I didn't have so many dang fragrances. But anyway, that's it for my review. If you're interested, I'll put a link in the description on where you can get this. Anyway, I love you guys and good memories, real good memories. Anyway, I love you guys and I'll talk to you later.